Okay, so hi to everyone. Once again, what we are going to share today will be I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen before I start everything. Let me share my screen. Now you guys tell me if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, Adeline, can you see my screen? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So today, I want to go one step further in making people who receive the PPP money, a grant. The people who receive those money, it came in terms of a loan. That means, if you have received the money, you have signed the loan document, you have a paper that says that the money is actually a loan of 1% to be paid back in 60 months, right? But that law also tells you guys, hey, this is the loan, but this is how you do to just not paying back. So I'm like, okay, why don't you or don't everybody just do the same thing that is asked them to do to make it a grant? And last week we talked about this. This table right here is basically the way to show with numbers the government that, hey, you gave us the money, you told us how to do with the money, and we have done it. And that's why we want you to forgive that money. Last week, we talked about the 74-25 rules, because the loan, the requirement to actually get the loan forgiven is to use at least 75% of the money to pay yourself. I'm talking about self-employer here, to pay yourself. I mean, if you are the owner of your own business, and use 25% to pay any other non-compensation related. I'm talking here about the loan, the rent. Let me note something here. Here I'm talking about the mortgage interest if you own the property where you are operating your business. I'm talking about your rents. It could be that you don't own it, but you pay rent on it. To pay for credit cards, business credit card, because you may have a line of business credit, a line of credit for your business. And to pay for what is called electricity, water, internet, cable, phone, transportation. So you have 25% to use toward those expenses. If 25% is used toward those expenses, you don't have to pay back. If 75% is used to pay yourself, you don't have to pay the money back. So they gave us some formula how to pay yourself, how much you can pay yourself. So last week we said that to pay yourself, there is a formula that says that you should take 150 seconds of your yearly salary. It means what? You go to 2019, you figure out how much did you make as a profit, right? If you are on your profit, that means your net income. You take your net income, you divide it by 12. When you divide by 12, and actually you take the net income, you divide by 52 to figure out the weekly compensation for you. That means on this example over here that we started working on last week, over here this person received $6,747 as a loan. So this formula can actually retrieve the yearly net income, which is 32,000, right? Now your weekly benefit is what? Look at weekly here, weekly profit, weekly payroll. It's this amount divided by 52, because 1 year is 52 weeks, right? So this table here retrieve your yearly income from the amount that was given to you. That's what this formula does. And this payroll, this weekly payroll cost is what you actually have to pay yourself on weekly, every week, until you reach 75%. After 75%, if you take using the money to pay yourself, it doesn't count. It will not be forgivable. So the max you can use there is 75%. Why? Because you also have to use 25% for non-payroll costs, which is all what we see here. These are non-payroll costs. Allowable, let's call allowable non-payroll costs, because not all the costs are allowable. So if you spend money on anything other than this stuff here, it doesn't count. Even though you spend the whole money on it, you will have to pay the money back. So you don't have to say, oh, I received 5,000, I spent all the money, so okay, that's good. Let's go apply for forgiveness, because by the way, you have to apply for forgiveness just the way we apply to get the money. You also have to apply for forgiveness. Now, we need to supporting document. Apply is just a process, like an official way to say, okay, I want it to be forgivable. But it just doesn't work like you use your mouth to tell them. You have to show all the details of the spending of that money. That's the reason why you have this table here, this formula, this magic income tracker, expense tracker here. So last week, we explained all of this. I'm not going to go over it again, because last video, if you want to know how it was working, you can watch the last video, the video that we run, that we had during the meeting last week. The link will be somewhere below this video also. So basically, it was to say that if you take all the money, you split, you show it, okay, this table just show you all the results, but this is where you put all your information here, okay, on this table. On this table, you just put your information here. This is 8 weeks period. This is 8 week period. If you put all the information, this person put all the information here, how much he paid himself, and how much he paid for mortgage, or for rents, and for cable. He put all the information right there. But at the end, the table told him that not all the money will be forgivable. This is the table right here that we used last year for him. This table tells him that we still have 76% that is not forgivable. That means he's going to owe $76. He still has $76, sorry, not 76%. This is the amount that is not forgivable, given all this formula that we applied. But he didn't have to think. You don't have to think. You just have to, he just had to put all the information. We asked him, it was a live, it was a case study. We asked him all the information. I'm sorry he's not connected now. He told us he owns 100% of his workplace. Or what does that mean? It means 100% of his workplace is for his business. He's actually a repair shop. That means you have a big repair shop in Newark, in East Orange. And what does that mean? It means that all of these expenses here are 100% business expense. That's why you see 100% here. Okay? Now, if it was to use only 30% of his office as a business, for example, people who doesn't have a separate business location. For example, if you are running a business and your house is your business address, if your house is your business, you have to decide what percentage of your house is your business. It's not 100% because you also live there. You have your children living there, right? That means your house is not 100% your business. What do you think will be the percentage usage of your house that is allocated to the business? It's up to you. I mean, nobody will know that but you. Let's say it's 30%. That means 30% of my house, or maybe 50% of my house, or maybe you use half of your house for a business. Maybe you're parking stuff in your house. I mean, I do Amazon business. That means sometimes I have a bunch of package, bunch of books, stuff coming from the manufacturing warehouse. I bring them to my house before I have to put all the ticket on it before I send to Amazon warehouse. That means sometimes I use 50% of my house for business. So it's up to everybody to what percent of your house you use for business. So over here, let's see the magic here. If over here we put maybe 50%, let's say only 40% of the business is used for of his house is used for business. There will be a difference somewhere. it will create some type of difference because all the amount will change. Why? Look exactly on this category here. Over here, it was the mortgage. The mortgage or the rent, because you rent the place. The rent, how much did you put on the rent? On the rent, the rent was 2,500 over here. You see, on week three here, the rent is 2,500. But because he put 40% of the usage of that location is used for his house or his business, the actual rent that is allocated or that is allowable to be forgiven is not the 2,500, but it's how much? You see, only 1,000. That means only 1,000 here will be forgivable, will be allowed as a non-compensation expense because it's only 1,000 is 40% of 2,500. So because you took the money, you go and pay for your rent, doesn't mean all the money is forgivable. So that's the point that I wanted everybody to watch this video, because people will be like, oh, I used that money to pay for my rent twice, 2 months, and it's over. It doesn't mean it's over. What percentage of the rent that you pay is allocated to your business? If it's 100%, because it's a tour location, tour separate location, that's good. But if that place is also your house, you have to decide what percentage of your house is used. And same thing, internet. If the internet that you have in your house is for your house and also for your business, and it's only 40% that is allocated to your business, then it's only 100 instead of what? Instead of 200, this is right here. This is internet. Instead of $250, it may be only 100. That's the point here, to be able to decide what is the percentage of usage of your house do you use for business. Okay, so I'm gonna put the 100 back. That means we have the real value. So I put the 100 here. What does it mean? What does it do? It comes here and it changes everything. Now I have 2,500 back, right? That's to let you know how this is working and how it will help you to figure out exactly how much you will be forgivable when you finish, when you actually apply to have the money, let's say cancel, to have the loan cancel. So you don't have to be surprised. People will be like, oh, I went there, I called the bank, and the bank told me that I owe the whole money, or I owe 90% of the money. Yes, because you didn't show evidence or detail. If you don't show no detail, they don't work for you. They don't work for you. I mean, they are there to make money. If they have to think twice, whatever they can't figure out, they just assume that it's a loan for you. They are not going. And now when you have your bank statement and stuff, it's just to sustain what you have here. You don't have to just stay there. You don't record anything. And this, you do this instead of hiring an accountant, because this is what I do when it's a simple activity. For big businesses, they actually have to hire us to do the recording of all the business transactions every day. But you don't have to do that. If you want, over here, everything is simplified. Just go there whenever you make an expense, or if you remember when you made that expense, just go to the week, because you have here week 1, week 2, and so on. This guy received the money on June 12th. So June 12th is the beginning of the week 1. Week 2 is start on June 19th, and so on. So if you spend, I don't know, your internet bills, let's go here, because this is where you put the numbers. If you remember that you spend when you receive the money, the next time you pay for internet was on June 26th, just come here to put it to June 26th. If the next time you spend for water bill was on the week of June 19th, go and put there June 19th if you spend the money already. If you haven't spent the money, anytime you spend the money, go to the week. What week are you in? I'm on week July 17th. I just put it there. So yes. So when we have done this last week, we noticed that some people didn't get all the money forgivable because the formula just didn't let them see all the money forgivable. For example, this guy, the maximum money he could forgive is he could get forgiven forgiven is $6,671. That is $76. That is not going to be forgivable. So what to do? Because we noticed that, remember, this program started on March 27. So we noticed that sometimes when you apply the formula that they give to people, it doesn't cancel all the money, even though you apply everything, right? So we start, inquire about that with the government, and finally they came up with an adjustment, an amendment of that forgiveness rules. So they add one new rule to the rule that was 70 to 25. That means it used to be that you have to use at least 75% of the money to pay yourself, and use 25%. Now over here, we apply all the rules, but this is what you're supposed to pay for yourself. Over here with the rules 75-25, this is what you're supposed to apply to claim. But it happened that when you pay yourself exactly for the 8-week period, you apply the formula they want us to apply to pay yourself every week. We apply that. And you pay yourself for 8 weeks. This is an 8-week period, by the way. So the first law was 8-week period. So you apply all of that, but it only add up to be 4,900. It's not up to 5,000. So the difference is just what you see here, $76. That's the reason why you owe money. So we went there and told them, oh, listen, 8-week period is not enough. It's not enough for all the cases to claim everything. So they added a new law to say, oh, we're going to give you up to 24 weeks. So you can choose whether you're going to use the 74 weeks, or you're going to use the 8 weeks period, or you're going to use the 24 weeks period, right? But on this 24-week period, it doesn't have to be 75% anymore. It should be 60%. So the rules changes a little bit. So if you don't take these rules here, then you're going to be to move to the new one. The new one is what? It's actually the 24 weeks period right here. You see, this one is what? 74 weeks period. You have to use the 74 because they're giving you more weeks to claim more expenses. That means you can have all the money forgivable. That's the point. So they came up with additional weeks, but the rules kind of changes a little bit. It's no longer 75-25, but it's a 60-40. That means you have to, the maximum amount you can claim on yourself to pay yourself is no longer 75%, but it's a 60%. If you pay yourself more than 60%, whatever is paid above 60% is not going to be counted as a be forgivable. You have to use the maximum you can use is 60%, and you have to use up to 40% for non-compensation. Okay, and over here we have this new table here. This one accounts for what? This one accounts for 24 weeks. You see here, you have week 1 here. It goes all the way to week 24. So it used to be this guy, he stopped here at 8 weeks, but he didn't finish his money. So they gave him all of this one. So if you use this table, that's what I said last week. If you use this table for the 8-week period, you figure out that you don't have everything forgivable. Then you have to move to the next one, because over here now, you see the first table here, over here, this is the money, you see, payroll cost forgiveness reduction. So this amount was reducted from what was supposed to be forgiven. Otherwise, it's a new loan, that amount after forgiveness. So when we forgive everything, we still have $75 here. That's what you have to pay. But on this new law, he has nothing to pay back. Maximum forgiveness alone, $607 for his 7, which is exactly how much they gave him as a loan. You see, you can compare both this number and this other number here. Those two numbers are equal. And you see here, payroll cost forgiveness reduction is 0. Non-payroll cost forgiveness is 0. That means he's good. But what I was saying here, what you have to notice here is that when you go to do this detail, is that this person here paid himself more than 70%, more than 60%, because with this new law here, the amount he's supposed to pay himself is no longer 5,000 something. How much is it? Only 4,000. So everybody has to think twice before you even move to the new period, because over here you don't even have to claim up to 70. That means out of the 5,000, you will have like more than 1,000. It's actually 9,900 something. That will not be accounted for a forgiveness when it comes to payroll. Okay, so you have to think about it. That means the new amount for non-payroll costs will be 2,000 something. How much was it before? Let's check how much it was. It was only 1,000 here before. Now is how much? Now it's 2,000. That means if you don't have enough non-payroll costs, you will not be able to claim to get all this money forgivable. But I think everybody will get it forgivable because you have 24 weeks. That means even though after 1 month you don't have, by the way, every month you have non-payroll compensation, non-payroll costs that you claim, right? So this guy here, what he have lost is this amount here. This portion, this amount here didn't account for forgiveness on the payroll compensation. But he was good, he was be able to claim 40% of the non-payroll costs. That is how he was able to get $0 loan at the end of this 24 weeks period. Okay, so yes, this is what I wanted to share with you. So basically, we can take a new scenario here, and we choose someone for the this is for the 24 weeks period. We choose someone who has maybe 7,000, 11,200 something. Okay, this person here has 11,000 loan. I'm just making it up. So over here, the maximum amount. Okay, let's go and pick this amount first and put it on the 24 period first. On the 8 weeks period. On the 8 weeks period. This is the 8 weeks period here. Let's see. And what is the 8 week period? Okay, let's take the 8 week periods. This one. You see, it's only 8 weeks. Let's put maybe 11,000, 2,050. You see how everything changes. Everything changes. Over here, this person here has the payroll limit. That means 70% of this amount is 8,000 that he has to claim. You see what is the net income, yearly income over here. So the weekly payroll here is this amount right here. Weekly payroll cost. This is how much this person has to pay himself. This amount. But in order to put all the data, you don't put all the data here. You put all the data on this sheet here. Let's see, the amount was what? $11,250. So this table also shows you how much you should pay yourself every week. It's right here. So what you do is what? Every week, you just go here and put $1,038 every week, week 1. Okay, let's imagine that he got this loan the first day of when you receive the loan, you just put the date here. Put the date you received the loan. When was it? It was, let's say it was on July 24, okay? This table will show you when will be the last week. The last week the last week of the coverage period will be September 11. So the table tells you everything. Over here, you just put all the amount that you have to pay yourself with. You pay yourself with $1,088 every week. You pay yourself. 38, 1,000. So every week, you have to remove the money to pay yourself. And by the way, you have to remove that money. Don't just say, okay, I'm gonna save, I'm paying myself. But since it's my bank account, let me just keep the money there. They might think that you are not paying yourself. So you have to remove the money. Even though you're gonna put your bank account, remove the money back so we can see that the money exits the bank account where they deposited the money, okay? So 138, 138, 138. So you have 8,000. So he paid himself 8,000. So if we keep all these scenarios here, how much did he pay himself for rents? On the third weeks, he paid the rents. On the 7 weeks, he paid another rent. He paid the cable bill the same weeks. And he also paid the cable because by the way, it's monthly. So he also paid the cable bills on this day. So where is it going to be here? So let's go look at, let's put here that he used it for 100%, just the way we show. Maybe it won't be easy if it's 100%. Okay, let's put it 100%. 100%, that means he has a separate location for his business, right? Whether it's a store or a repair shop or a barber shop or anything. Okay, let's go here and check how much will be forgivable. Wow. You see how much will be forgivable here? The maximum amount forgivable is this amount here. So he will have 2,600. That is not going to be forgivable. That is why this table is telling him. It's right here. 2,000 anticipation loan amount after forgiveness. So when they forgive everything, you still have $2,624 that you have to pay back. That's a big deal right here. So that's the reason why they are saying that, okay, we're going to help you guys here. Okay, we're going to help you here. What we're going to do is to give you more room to claim more expenses, right? So over here you are stuck. If you have to stop here, let's say you got 11,000. Listen, you get 11,000. You went there and you spent all the money. Now you say, oh, I finished everything, so I don't even have nothing. I spent everything. So, and you just walk to ask for forgiveness. You'll be surprised to see that you owe 2,000. Even though, by the way, if you don't do nothing, you will actually, they will tell you that you owe more than this amount, because if you don't have all the tracking, they will just assume that you didn't use nothing. But if you even track, if you track like this, at least you're not surprised, because at least you don't owe all the whole money. If you don't do nothing, then you will owe $11,000, because they don't see where or when you are showing them with all the details, when and how much you have spent the money. So they will tell you that you owe 11,000. If you do this, at least you know that you owe 2,600. So you're not surprised. But what will happen is that the new law will give you more rooms to claim more expenses. That's the reason why if we go here on the new law, the new table, that has 24 weeks period. We put the same amount here, 11,000 loan amount, 11,250, right? It tells you exactly the same thing, how much you can claim to pay yourself, right? Now, we go back to this one, this table. This is the table for 24 weeks here. We put the same loan amount here. What's the loan amount here? By the way, it will be easier to actually capture this amount. This amount, we're going to modify this formula to capture this amount right from here. Right from here. That means as soon as you just put the money in this first table here, it just populates it on this other result table. So over here, you see how much money you have. This is how much you should spend on non-compensation costs. This is what you should spend on yourself. It used to be that you can spend how much? with the 8-week period. You used to be that you can spend up to 8,000, look, on payroll. But here, you can only spend 6,000. But you have more room to spend other things, which is 4,500 to spend on non-compensation costs. I think this will be much better for the person. Why? Because over here, he has all of these rooms to be able to claim up to 2,500 in non-payroll costs, right? Yes, I think he has more rooms here. And that's the reason why when we check here, we see that he only owes how much? 900. He only owes 900 here. And this is when we are keeping the data that was claimed on the 8 weeks period. That means now we still have, that means he has only what? This amount that he has to claim, not our compensation. Okay, over here, he has all these weeks to claim a lot of expenses, right? He has all these weeks to claim a lot of, oh, we have to modify this amount. This amount is supposed to pay himself 1,000 instead of 600. So we have to put here 1,038 week 1. We just want to copy everything. We're not going to do the same thing over and over. Okay. You see, here he paid himself 1,000, right? Let's go and look for the new result here. What does the new result says? It says that he has to put over here the same amount for the 8 weeks period. $1,038, $1,038, $1,038, $1,038, $1,038, $1,038. So basically, over here he spent more than he spent over here. Let's see how much he spent, how much money he spent on payroll costs. Let's see how much. We spent up to 8,000 here, but guess what? 1,000 is not going to account for forgiveness. That means he has to spend all this portion of the money also on non-compensation expense. Okay, so that's the reason why now he's able to have what you see here, to claim all the maximum amounts, because he has more rooms to be able to claim everything until the end of it. But it's just that he has to track it for 24 hours and for 24 weeks, and wait for 24 weeks before he claims for forgiveness. Okay, but he has to do that. You have to do that. Otherwise, the whole money will not going to be forgivable. So this is the point that I wanted to make here. And of course, this table here, I'm going to put the link here for if someone will be interested on using it to track his expenses, because I have credit for my customer, and I'm gonna leave the link. If someone is interested, he will click on the link and see all the conditions to be able to get this table, this income tracker, that will help them to get all the money, or at least if they don't get all the money forgivable, they will know exactly how much is forgivable, and nobody will be surprised and think that that was a trap for them. Okay, yes. So now, if you have any question, there will be a link here. By the way, over here, you can contact us. Over here, you see, you can contact me here. You can book an appointment with me to ask if you have any question. Let's click on it and see what will happen. You click on it, and you have all my calendar here. You see SCB. If you have a question, you can click and book a time with me. That I will not even charge you for that, by the way. Even though we charge $150 per hour for consultation, we decide to help people here. So if you have a question, just click any date and book a time and explain what you want to discuss about. It will be my pleasure to spend 15 minutes or maybe 30 minutes with you to explain and to go over the thing that you don't understand on this table or in any other stuff related to this program. Okay, I'm back here. So just to let you know that you can still contact us if you have an issue using this. Okay, you will find the phone number, or you can also use any channel to contact me. So yes, we have finished with this, and it was a pleasure to explain this to you once again. And the next week, I will actually helping to actually do the process of the forgiveness. That means because for many people, that's what I'm actually doing with people. I'm going to share it online, how to do it. If somebody has to apply for it by himself, I'm going to share with you. But over here, I wanted to let you know how to evaluate and know exactly how much will be forgivable for you. And I use two formulas, the 24 rules and the 74, I mean, how do you call it? The 25 rules and the 60-40 rules. That was a pleasure for me to share this information with you. Whichever question you have, do not hesitate to address them. Yes. So, now, je vais expliquer ça en français pour ceux qui sont là et qui sont les francophones. C'était pour dire tout simplement que ici, dans ce programme, la semaine passée, nous avons développé ceci pour montrer aux gens comment est-ce que l'argent qu'on reçoit peut être annulé. L'argent qu'on reçoit pour le PPP spécifiquement peut être annulé. Donc, j'ai déjà enlevé les données qui étaient là avant, mais pendant que j'ai changé, vous avez vu comment j'ai changé les données dessus. Lorsqu'il y a un membre la semaine passée qui avait de l'argent, qui avait 7 000 de poussière, lorsqu'on a appliqué la formule avec le 8 semaines, il s'est avéré que tout son argent n'était pas annulable. Ça veut dire qu'il y a un montant qu'il devait encore payer. Et c'est là où j'ai dit la semaine passée que, OK, avec cette nouvelle-là, nous les comptables, nous les experts, nous avons essayé de contacter le gouvernement pour leur dire, voilà, c'est comme si quelque chose manque, parce que ce n'est pas tout le monde, même si la plupart, ce que vous dites, il y a des gens qui se trouvent que leur argent ne sera pas annulé complètement. Et si c'est une mesure pour aider les gens, pour annuler, il faut vraiment une loi qui puisse aider les gens à permettre qu'ils puissent annuler tout. Donc voilà comment le 5 juin, il y a donc une autre amélioration, modification de cette loi d'annulation de la dette qui inclut plus de périodes. Ça veut dire que ça t'amène à pouvoir te donner 24 semaines. Avant, tu avais 8 semaines. Il y a des personnes qui, pendant 8 semaines, n'ont pas pu faire des dépenses qui peuvent montrer que l'argent est fini. Il n'y a pas de dépenses autorisées, n'est-ce pas? Donc, on a augmenté le nombre de semaines. Et évidemment, quand on augmente le nombre de semaines, tu as encore plus de temps pour dépenser de l'argent. Le but, c'est que tu puisses dépenser ou alors que tu puisses leur dire, j'ai utilisé ça pour faire telle chose. Donc, on a augmenté la durée et l'expérience que j'ai montrée aujourd'hui, j'ai montré que lorsqu'on a changé de 8 semaines à 24 semaines, cette personne que la semaine passée, n'était pas en mesure de voir toute sa dette annulée, a maintenant vu sa dette annulée avec la période de 24 semaines. Okay? Donc, également, j'ai pris un autre exemple ici. Notre exemple avec des données différentes, notamment, c'est encore sur l'écran, de montrer qu'une personne qui a 11 000 plus tôt, lorsqu'on applique les 12 semaines, il va devoir payer encore 2 624 $. Si il applique les règles de 4 semaines, n'est-ce pas? Bon, c'est vrai qu'ici, on n'avait pas actualisé tout le montant. Oui, la formule de calcul n'était pas encore actualisée ici. Donc, parce qu'ici, il devrait avoir 100, ce même montant partout. Il va avoir ce même montant partout. Donc, bref. Donc, ça, ici, on montre que avec la loi de 24 semaines maintenant, Cette personne se trouve avec tout son argent annulé. Elle veut dire toute la dette annulée. Donc, c'est ça que je voulais partager ici et dire qu'il ne faut pas que des personnes soient surprises après de dire, OK, voilà, je suis allé pour annuler ma dette, mais on me dit plutôt que c'est seulement tel montant qui sera annulé, alors que je savais que j'ai tout utilisé l'argent. Ce n'est pas parce que tu as utilisé tout l'argent qu'on t'a remis que tout cet argent sera annulé. Il veut dire que la dette sera annulée. Donc, c'est ça l'importance de pouvoir regarder cette vidéo. Et j'ai dit en anglais que je vais laisser le lien qui permettra à ceux qui veulent acquérir ce petit tableau de pouvoir s'en acquérir, de pouvoir s'en offrir et de souscrire et voir les conditions qu'il faut pour avoir une copie afin d'être prêt pour pouvoir annuler leur dette au moment venu. Donc, c'est ce que j'avais à partager aujourd'hui. La seule chose que j'ai à augmenter, c'est par rapport à tous ceux qui appliquent qui ont appliqué le ELDL, c'est leur faire comprendre que chaque fois, si tu n'as pas encore reçu une lettre de denial, parce qu'évidemment, quand je parle, les gens se retrouvent, il y a les gens qui ont reçu des lettres qui leur demandent de continuer le processus, mais à un moment, ils ont encore reçu le denial. So, si tu n'as pas reçu le denial, il faut être cool, il faut juste attendre. Parce que ça dépend du loan officer qui prend ton case. Des gens trouvent leur dossier expédité, c'est-à-dire que traité avec une rapidité qui m'a parfois étonné. J'ai vu des gens avoir leurs documents traités en 48 heures, c'est-à-dire que du moment où on a appliqué jusqu'au moment où ils reçoivent l'argent, ça leur a pris 48 heures pour avoir la décision finale de savoir quand est-ce que l'argent va tomber dans le. C'est-à-dire que le loan document, c'est la dernière étape. Quand tu dois t'envoyer un email qui permet de signer le loan document, ça veut dire que c'est fini, il n'y a plus rien à faire. Tu attends seulement que l'argent tombe dans ton compte. C'est maintenant une question de 2, 3, 4, 5, ça dépend. Pendant qu'il y a les gens qui prennent 2 semaines, 3 semaines, 4 semaines, avant d'avoir les lettres successives. Donc, je n'ai pas de contrôle par rapport à ça. Ce que je pense plutôt, c'est qu'il y a certaines personnes qui peuvent prendre un dossier, mais qui prennent plus de temps pour le traiter. OK? So, si tu n'as pas encore reçu une lettre qui te dit que, oh, insufficient information or credit bad or whatever it is, tu n'as pas encore reçu cela, tu n'as pas à t'inquiéter. C'est pour ça que j'ai dit qu'il faut venir ici prendre les dernières informations. Et by the way, les gens même qui ont reçu des messages qui les disqualifiaient, j'ai expliqué plusieurs fois comment est-ce qu'on fait pour revenir à la course. Donc, si tu as reçu un message qui te dit que deny, suis les vidéos, je veux dire, même pas les vidéos, les Zoom meetings ici que nous avons fait. Il y a un ou deux où j'ai expliqué, tu vas trouver sûrement une date, où j'ai expliqué comment faire, c'est-à-dire que étape par étape, comment faire au cas où tu reçois un non for business. L'argent est pour tout le monde. Parfois, lorsqu'on envoie maintenant une denial letter, c'est juste une question que tu déposes maintenant tes documents financiers, ton travel license, tu leur envoies toutes les informations et ils vont te remettre ton argent. L'argent que tu dois avoir. À moins, bien sûr, que ton crédit soit réellement bas et tu sais que c'est vraiment mauvais. Et tu connais même pourquoi est-ce que c'est mauvais. Ça veut dire qu'il y a les gens qui m'ont dit, oui, je suis allé en Afrique, j'étais au Nigeria. Je suis allé au Nigeria au mois de février. 2 semaines avant mon retour, le Covid a frappé, on a fermé les frontières. J'ai fait pratiquement 4 mois dehors. En faisant 4 mois dehors, évidemment, tu n'es pas en train de payer tes cartes de crédit, tu ne travailles plus. Donc, ça a vraiment affecté leur crédit. Au point qu'elles rentrent, d'autres ont leur numéro de téléphone annulé. Des gens qui ne sont pas, les gens qui ne sont pas sous contrat. Quand tu n'es pas sous contrat, quand tu ne renouvelles pas ton téléphone à la fin du mois, on suppose que tu ne veux plus ce numéro. Donc, on a trouvé d'autres personnes. J'ai des clients qui ont eu ce problème, qui se sont trouvés en train d'avoir des. Quand on les a refusés, ils ont dit que oui, je comprends, je sais. Je suis en train de travailler vraiment, je suis en train d'appeler telle compagnie pour leur expliquer, pour qu'ils enlèvent tous les late fees qu'ils ont mis sur mon. Et tous les late payments. Je suis en train d'aller voir telle banque qui a même dû fermer. Oui, à moins que tu sois sûr que ton crédit est vraiment, vraiment affecté et que tu connaisses même pourquoi c'est affecté. Au cas contraire, même lorsqu'on dit crédit, il y a des personnes qui ont dit for credit history et ils m'ont tapé la poitrine que mon crédit n'a pas de problème. Alors, on a appliqué le loan forgiveness, la reconsideration et ils ont reçu leur argent. Donc, c'est la raison pour laquelle je dis, il faut suivre ce qu'on est en train de dire dans le groupe. Je ne les partage pas dans ma page Facebook. Ces informations, je ne vais pas les partager dans ma page Facebook parce que des millions de personnes qui sont là, il y a peut-être qu'un centième, même pas un dixième, peut-être un centième de personnes qui sont au courant de ce qu'on fait. La raison pour laquelle beaucoup d'informations, je vais les partager ici. J'encourage tout le monde de suivre l'actualité dans le groupe. Et s'ils ont du nouveau, de le partager également dans le groupe. Donc, ça, c'est plus ou moins l'ajout que je voulais faire. Et en même temps, lorsque quelqu'un a des questions, qu'il les pose aussi dans le groupe. Parce que me poser la question à moi, ça n'aide pas le groupe. Parce que non seulement je risque de t'envoyer dans le groupe si je sais que la question a été répondue dans une vidéo, mais aussi, même si la question peut être dans la vidéo et que je te réponde, je suis parti d'aider le groupe. Nous sommes nombreux dans le groupe. Il y a un groupe en français et en anglais. Si tu poses une question, même si c'est en français, je vais la répondre en français, je vais la répondre en anglais aussi, et la mettre dans le groupe des anglophones. Il y a deux groupes en passant. Il y a un groupe qui est pour nous les francophones, il y a un groupe qui est pour les anglophones. Donc, si tu as une question, qui a une préoccupation, va poser là-bas. Quand tu poses, je vais voir, je peux me faire une vidéo pour adresser cette question-là. Pour qu'une autre personne qui a la même question puisse retrouver la réponse. Donc, c'est la raison pour laquelle on a créé le groupe. Donc, sur ce, je vais vous quitter et passer un très bon week-end, une très bonne fin de semaine et un très bon début de semaine de travail. Bye et à la prochaine.
Ouais.
Ou alors, quelqu'un a une question avant qu'on ne se sépare.
Non, Roussel, tu m'entends?
Oui, je t'écoute.
Bon, comment on fait? Est-ce que tu vas envoyer le template là pour qu'on essaie de regarder? Tu vas nous envoyer ça, on peut imprimer et peut-être on peut regarder. Le template là, le template le template que tu es en train d'expliquer là.
Non, le template que je vois, je ne peux pas les envoyer. C'est une application. Une application parce que lorsqu'on met des nombres, ça fait des calculs et ça donne des résultats. Voici ce qu'on appelle ça input. Voici là où il y a, et puis c'est plusieurs possibilités. Ça peut être quelqu'un qui est sur 8 semaines, comme ça peut être une personne qui est sur 24 semaines. Je ne sais pas si 8 semaines va être convenient pour toi. Jusqu'à ce que tu appliques, tu mets vraiment les données. Je ne sais pas si
non, moi, je crois que 24 semaines peut-être. Bon, mais ça dépend. C'est pour ça que je veux que s'il y avait la possibilité pour que je, bon, de toute façon, j'ai screenshot et, je veux bien comprendre. Est-ce que tu veux dire est-ce qu'on peut donc prendre un papier et remplir ça comme ça là, à la maison tous les jours?
Si tu prends un papier pour remplir tous les jours, tu n'auras pas de formule. Ton papier, tu vas mettre le amount here. Comment est-ce que tu vas avoir le honor compensation?
Bon, la question, donc ma question, c'est donc comment on fait pour avoir accès à ça alors?
J'ai dit qu'il faut souscrire. J'ai mis le lien. Je crois que j'ai mis le lien déjà. J'ai laissé un lien.
D'accord.
Je crois avoir laissé un lien pour pouvoir souscrire parce que c'est un tableau. Oui, chacun me fait le screenshot de regarder. Mais la seule chose qu'on met ici à l'intérieur, c'est ce montant-ci. Le montant du loan. Maintenant, le pourcentage de ownership de ton business varie, n'est-ce pas? Selon que c'est 100% ici, ou bien que c'est seulement 50%, ou bien que c'est seulement 40%, change le outcome de façon automatique de ton résultat. Ça, c'est les données que tu mets. C'est les données. Tout le monde, c'est ici en fait que tout le monde travaille. Mais en fonction de ce que tu mets ici, tu ne sais pas combien est-ce que tu vas avoir qui va être forgivable. Ça veut dire que parce que au-delà, total expense. Le total expense ici, c'est 13 000 $. Alors que le montant, c'est combien? Le montant qu'on a remis, c'est 11 000. Mais ça ne veut pas dire que c'est 13 000 $ ici qui sont additionnés. C'est bon parce que j'ai mis tous les 11 000 $. 13 000 $ dépasse 11 000, ça veut dire que c'est bon. C'est pas bon. On a vu ici là que sur 8 semaines, ça c'est 8 semaines justement, il a dépensé 13 000. Mais il ne peut pas claim tous les même pas les 11 000. Il doit avoir 2 000 $ ici. C'est la formule maintenant qui te fait savoir combien est-ce que combien d'argent sera annulé et combien tu vas encore donner à la fin. Donc, ceci, c'est pour te permettre de record, c'est-à-dire que ça capture les inputs. Tu mets seulement le montant. Si c'est le gaz, l'électricité, si c'est l'eau que tu as payé, tu mets les valeurs ici, là. L'application va aller additionner et payer ce qui est produit et voir ce qui ne l'est pas. Maintenant, il donne le résultat sur cette autre page. La page qui donne le résultat, par exemple, ici, là, ça dit que tu as combien utilisé ici, là. Moi, je ne la maîtrise pas. À moins que je cherche à comprendre un peu comment je construis le programme. Tu comprends un peu? Donc, il y a des calculs qui ne sont pas spontanés ici, là. Donc,
qui ne sont pas automatiques.
Oui, c'est automatique en fait. Ce qu'on fait plutôt, c'est imprimer. Quand on a mis toutes les données, on va maintenant imprimer ceci et mettre dans l'application. C'est maintenant ça qu'on va leur donner. Tu comprends un peu? Dans l'application, on va imprimer ceci. Lorsqu'on a pris l'application et que tu as mis toutes les données ici par détail, ça c'est les données. Et ça c'est le résultat. Quand tu me donnes sur le résultat ici, il est nettement confiant. Donc, quand tu vas les montrer, ils ont aussi leur table. Ils vont prendre ce montant-ci, le montant du loan. Le bloc, dans leur formule, ils ont aussi une application forcément qui leur permet de savoir combien est-ce que tu dois devoir aux gens. C'est parce que tu as une d'après ce que tu as montré ici. Mais si tu n'as rien, ils vont mettre dans l'application, ils vont te dire que tu fais, oh, tu comprends un peu. Donc, la seule chose que tu dois faire, c'est oui, imprimer ceci là, écrire tout ceci. C'est important. Ça, c'est le input. C'est important de l'écrire sur le papier si tu veux. Si tu veux oublier, écris ça sur le papier. Pour que l'application puisse convertir ça en résultat. Tu m'écoutes un peu?
Ok, donc l'essentiel, oui, donc l'essentiel pour le moment, c'est d'abord de subscribe.
Oui, c'est d'abord de subscribe, mais aussi, je subscribe pour pouvoir se rappeler autant que tu peux des dépenses, parce que l'argent se dépense tous les jours. Les dépenses, pour pouvoir avoir une copie de ceci, les données à l'intérieur. Et quand on a mis de l'intérieur, l'application combien d'argent va être dans ce cas.
Ok, d'accord. Sinon que le principe est simple. Une fois que tu as subscribe, tu auras affaire à cet template. Et maintenant, tu peux remplir ces chiffres à l'intérieur au fur et à mesure que les semaines passent.
Voilà.
C'est ça?
Justement. Oui.
Voilà. Et maintenant, est-ce qu'il y a un processus pour sauvegarder ça ou bien après, tu vas seulement, c'est à partir de toi qu'on pourra avoir le print out?
Quand tu le fais, tu sauvegardes. Ça va dans ton ordinateur déjà.
Ok, bon, tu veux dire dans mon téléphone?
Dans ton téléphone, oui.
Ok, d'accord, c'est bon. C'est bon, merci beaucoup. S'il y a n'importe quoi, je vais t'envoyer un email ou bien un message même demain.
Yeah. Ou encore même, si tu imagines que c'est une question que d'autres personnes peuvent aussi poser, tout simplement.
Je pose ça dans le forum.
Comme j'ai dit tantôt, tu peux dans le groupe, je peux l'adresser à toi après avoir posé dans le groupe. Maintenant, je peux adresser dans le groupe pour que quelqu'un d'autre puisse avoir cette même question.
Voilà. Si quelqu'un a le même problème, qu'on ait la solution une fois.
Oui, donc c'est en fait ça le but, de pouvoir travailler dans le groupe, quoi.
D'accord. Donc, une fois que je me rends là demain, je te tiendrai informé.
D'accord, d'accord. Donc, merci beaucoup pour la séance d'aujourd'hui et à la prochaine.
À la prochaine.